Welcome to Module 2 of SPED 150, Knowing the Student and Writing the IEP. If Module 1 built the foundation, Module 2 is where you begin to build on it. This week, you move from foundational knowledge to professional action. That shift matters. You are not reading about transition this week, you are doing it. The core question for this module is, how do we build a plan that is truly about the student? Not a template, not a compliance document, but a genuine roadmap toward the future they have told us they want. Hold that question as you work through every reading, video, and every section of the IEP you write this week. Module 2 is designed in 3 distinct phases. First, focusing on understanding the transition assessment framework, you will learn the domains and dimensions any comprehensive assessment must cover. Taught tool agnostically, whatever instrument your district uses, the framework you learn this week applies. The lecture covers writing an IEP focused on transition, looking at the present levels of academic and functional performance, measurable post-secondary goals, course of study, transition services and activities, and lastly, annual goals. There are 4 case studies for you to review: Coffee, Jordan, Amara, and Alejandro. Each case study presents an authentic challenge. Coffee is an 11th grade ASD Somali-born American boy. Jordan is a white 18-year-old 12th grader who has a primary disability of EBD and is TBI. Amara is a 19-year-old DCD African American student who is already attending a transition program. And Alejandro is a 16-year-old Mexican American SLD student with ADHD in the 10th grade. Please review each case study and evaluation before choosing who you want to write the IEP on. Once you have picked which student you will write the IEP on, begin the process of studying the information you have on the student and write the IEP. Let me give you a broader picture before we go further. Module 2 sits at the center of this course. Module 1 gave you the why and the legal what and described what transition is. Module 2 gives you the how, the assessment framework, the IEP writing process, and the structure that will carry you through the capstone. Using SPED forms, write your IEP. I will be looking at the IEP as a whole to see if you captured the essence of transition. The key assessment for the full course, Transition-Focused IEP, is worth 75 points and is due at the end of Module 3. But the work begins this week. What you build now is what you will finish next week. These are the 6 course learning outcomes, and I want to highlight where Module 2 sits within them. Learning Outcome 1, the legal foundations, was the primary focus of Module 1. It appears here in the lighter shade, not because it's absent from this module, but because it has already been built. You are carrying that forward. Learning Outcome 2 through 6 are all directly addressed in Module 2. Transition assessment, writing the IEP, self-determination, family partnership and cultural responsiveness, and community agencies and interagency collaboration comes into focus as you write the Coordinated Transition Services section of the IEP. Notice the sequence. These outcomes are not merely a list. They are a progression. Each one makes the next one possible. The Transition-Focused IEP is the key assessment for this course. It is worth 75 points and is due at the end of Module 3. But the work begins now in Module 2. This is important to understand. You do not write this IEP in 1 week. You draft it across 2 weeks. What must the IEP include? 4 required components. First, present levels, grounded specifically in the case study assessment data you have been given. Not generic language, not language borrowed from another student's file, data grounded student-specific present levels. Second, measurable post-secondary goals in all the required domains: post-secondary education and training, employment, and independent living. Third, coordinated transition services with agency connections. And lastly, annual IEP goals explicitly connected, not vaguely related, but explicitly connected to the post-secondary goals. Each and every statement in this IEP must be traceable to two things: assessment evidence and the student's own stated vision. If it is not traceable to both, it does not belong in this document. The Module 2 reflection is 5 points and is due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Submitted individually and separately from the IEP. The square, circle, triangle structure is the same as Module 1, but the prompts are different because the work this week is different. Your square is a practice, framework, or moment of clarity from this week's assessment and IEP writing work. Something that confirmed how you want to approach this work. Your circle is the section of the IEP you struggled with, a question about your students' data that you have not resolved yet, or tension in the planning work that you are still sitting with. These are the most generative responses if you are honest about them. Your triangle is 3 specific things you learned in Module 2 that are already shaping how you are writing this IEP. The operative word is already. Here is your week 2 checklist. Everything you need to do before Sunday at 11:59 p.m., organized by category. In the read column, the readings for Module 2 are organized into these categories. They're substantial because this is the most content-intensive week of the course. In the transition assessment, the age-appropriate transition assessment hub gives you full tool library organized by domain assessment type. In the watch and explore column, Module 2 overview, which is the video you're watching now, and the Module 2 lecture. In the what to check out, review the 4 case studies and choose the one student you would like to focus on. In the submit column, your Module 2 reflection for 5 points. The IEP is a work in progress this week. Full submission is at the end of Module 3. All individual work is due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. via Google Classroom. Here's what this week is generally asking of you. This is where the learning from Module 1 becomes practice. The readings, the assessment framework, and the videos are tools you will use this week to start drafting your IEP and SPED forms for a real student. Every section of the IEP you write this week should be traceable to something specific: a piece of assessment data from the case study packet, a post-secondary goal the student articulated in their profile, a family priority documented in the case materials. If it is not traceable, it is not a transition-focused IEP. Module 3 picks up exactly where you leave off here. If you would like me to review a draft prior to week 3 for feedback, please reach out to me. Peer review is a common method on how professionals improve their work. See you in Module 3.